Incumbency has long been seen as the ultimate advantage in Nigerian politics. Now, the ruling All Progressives Congress, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is banking on continuity and consolidation as it heads into the 2027 general elections. Now, recent developments suggest that incumbency may be more of a burden than a blessing. In Osun State, for instance, voters defied expectations, shattered APC's aura of invincibility. In Jigawa, the African Democratic Congress insists that grassroots mobilization can topple the ruling party. And across the country, opposition blocs are debating unity, with groups like the G100 pushing for a coalition to avoid repeating the fragmentation of 2023. The question is simple, yet profound. Can the opposition unseat the governing party, or will APC's machinery, resources, and incumbency still prove decisive? And of course, what we will be witnessing is a test of Nigeria's democracy, whether performance, credibility, and voter confidence can outweigh the power of incumbency. Well, joining in this conversation this evening right now is George Agbakahi, is an APC chieftain. He joins from Abuja. I also have Isaiah David Ijele, is the Convener Integrity and Transparency Alliance. And with me here in the studio is Dr. Lawal. Olohungbebe is the Commissioner for Education and Human Capital Development. Of course, Kwara State is with me here in the studio. Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
All right. I believe I got your name correctly.
Yes,
Olohungbebe. Let me start with you, Honorable Commissioner. Of course, we're already in the political season, interesting times. But let's bring it to Kwara State. Something pivotal happened in 2019 in the state. The Otoge movement came in like a revolution. Maybe Kwarans never saw it coming. And it started a new political wave of force. But many are also asking the question, if that movement, that spirit is still alive, not just with Kwarans, but even with the political class in the state. What's your take?
Yeah, thank you for that very good question. I would like to clarify something by asserting that the Otoge movement had so many different meanings to different persons who were involved in the movement. And even to the onlookers as well, they had different meanings to it. While some saw it as an avenue to attack a certain personality, to dethrone a certain personality or a certain dynasty, some saw it as, no, we just want to change. We want a significant change. While to some, they are just like, fine, I don't care. Whatever happens, it happens. While some are looking for personal benefits. So it depends on the person involved here. Now, looking at the spirits, I think it would be fair to say the majority of what is expected of an ideal Otoge movement partaker should be the interest of the state. What was happening then, what is happening now. So if what we are looking for is transformation as far as governance is concerned, as far as development is concerned, then the spirit is still intact.
It's still intact?
Yes, if that's what we are looking for.
So would you say that wave, the expectation, the drive, what the people of Kwara wanted, would you say that movement has so far delivered?
Now, let me give you some few examples, and I would leave listeners, viewers to judge. For instance, let me come to education. I'll cite two examples in education.
I mean, that's your ministry.
Thank you. One, in the year 2019, when Otoge, let me be precise now, when His Excellency Malam Abdurrahman Abdulrazak rode on the Otoge movement and got into power, in Kwara State then, only those in Ilorin, only pupils in Ilorin were actually getting what they deserved as far as education is concerned. How do I mean? The schools in the metropolis, in Ilorin to be precise, were the closest, and they still remain the closest, to the Ministry of Education, to the headquarters of SUBEB, to the headquarters of TESCOM. So the staff there would be able to supervise what was happening in those schools. They found it very easy. So most teachers in the city would go to class. But those in the suburbs, so those in the interland, probably you have 30% of them in the classroom. And that really affected our education sector. Because if you needed the best students there, you should just come to Ilorin. That's the only place where you would get it. So Otoge saw that, and the movement was like, no, this is not pan-Kwara enough. We should be thinking about every part of Kwara. So when His Excellency Malam Abrahman Abdulrazak came on board in 2019, by 2020, we knew what we wanted to do. And we introduced what we call Kwara Learn. Through Kwara Learn, every teacher in our primary school, for instance now, more than 1,600 schools, every teacher in our primary schools in Kwara State got his or her own tab. You would have your tab. Through that tab, you know what to be taught, which means whatever that is being taught in Ilorin, in any part of Ilorin, must be taught in Baurutin. The same thing the same day must be taught in Ifelodun. And it is very easy for us also.
But would you say this has directly impacted on the quality of results or the quality of learning?
That's where I'm going now.
On the students.
That is where I'm going now. So it gives us the opportunity to know which teacher is in the class, which one is not in the class. I, as the Honorable Commissioner, have my dashboard. You have a dashboard where you monitor the teachers that... Yes. The Subeb chairman also has his. He has his own dashboard. The government house has its own dashboard as well. The moment you see red, you click on it, it gives you the name of the teacher, the phone number. Teachers in Kwara State can testify to this. I'll pick up my phone and call. Hello, Mrs. So. You're supposed to be in the class now, so why are you not there? I can see you're not in the class. And in some cases, the teacher would say, I'm sorry, Honorable Commissioner, sir. I am right in the class, but my tab is having issue. I just gave it out yesterday for them to please fix for me. Okay, now let me say hi to the pupils in the classroom. And we'll say, good morning, Honorable Commissioner. Good morning. How are you? Fine. It means you're actually in the class. And by the time you see green, I do not wait for teachers to err before they they get my attention. I would also call. I can see you got to class so time, so day, you got to class. This is very impressive. I'm calling to say thank you on behalf of His Excellency.
So you monitor the activities of teachers.
And having done this for 3-4 years, our children, our pupils at the Subeb level, represented Kwara State in Nigeria here. They came first, and after that, they were in Singapore. They won first in the whole country, in the whole world. We didn't stop at that. Just last year, some of our pupils as well, they represented Kwara State in the debate. They won. They were outside. They won. They came back with a gold medal as well. As early as last 2 weeks, our children were in Kenya. They came back home, second runner up.
I mean, these are very much impressive or laudable.
And I'm sorry, please, I have to also say something.
Okay.
That's just about the students, about the pupils. Even our teachers, to a large extent, it has really improved their own understanding of pedagogy as well. The TRCN just last 2 weeks congratulated Kwara State coming first in the whole of North.
I mean, these are very, well, I call it laudable achievements. But I know this is outside your ministry, but you're still within the government of the state. Let's talk about security. In Kwara State. Because at the end of the day, if there's no security, you have out-of-school children. Pupils cannot go to school.
Yes.
It affects virtually, teachers cannot teach, and the state is on standstill. For instance, in communities like Dabu and one-day community, being attacked and deserted, as we speak. With all of the effort the federal government is claiming to put to assist in this area, we are still having consistent, persistent attacks in Kwara State. I believe the blow-by is affecting your ministry in terms of education. What is being done? Why do we continuously have these attacks in spite of all of the resources pumped into ensuring that Kwarans are safe?
Yeah, let me start by saying that it's quite disheartening sometimes when we read such on the headlines. And I have to tell you, yes, insecurity challenges are real. They are happening in Kwara. But to God be the glory, it has really reduced few days now. I mean, some few weeks now. Of course, we got an isolated issue some few days ago as well. However, what makes the news, what makes the headlines are the bad ones. we are recording successes as well. In some areas, you say, yeah, attacks were fought in so community, they were disarmed in so communities, but those would not make the headlines. His Excellency Malam Abdurrahman al-Barazak, in collaboration with the federal government, we are doing a lot, and we are seeing the results. I don't want to see it as an achievement to say even those that were kidnapped were able to get them back. They shouldn't have been kidnapped in the first place. But it's quite unfortunate. I would also not be claiming that it is a national issue. It's a regional stuff. But we are doing a lot of things, and some of these things are working. We are getting the results. We are getting our results. Working with some community leaders, religious leaders, we are getting some things done there. Non-kinetic intervention. The non-kinetic interventions are giving us more result even than the kinetic ones.
Can you expatiate what you mean by non-kinetic?
When I say non-kinetic, I'm actually talking about, for instance, now in the Ministry of Education, at the point in time, we had to come up with the training for managers of schools on how to manage information, on what to do when you see anything, whom to call, what is expected of you. All these prevents even the attacks itself. And it is non-kinetic. Nobody is giving them guns. Nobody is giving them anything, no arrow, nothing to say they want to fight themselves. How do you even manage this situation? Sometimes you see new faces in your community. Instead of you raising alarm, that, sorry, please, where are you from? And
okay,
where are you from? What is happening? What are you doing in our community? Probably they have just come to survey the community to see what is happening. The fact that you challenged them, the fact that the leader in the community also challenges and they are able to, to handle that situation is non-kinetic on its own. And it's one of the things the government is investing on. As far as the kinetic one is concerned, the soldiers, the armies, they are all doing what is expected of them, and we are seeing the result, and we hope that one day we'll not have anything like that in the whole of Nigeria.
All right, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll of course expand the conversation to bring in Isaiah Ijele into the conversation to also speak on this matter, and our other guests. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Of course, you're still watching Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest with me in the studio. Joining the conversation right now is Dr. George Agbakahi, is an APC chieftain, and also Isaiah David Ijele, Convener, Integrity and Transparency Alliance. Gentlemen, thank you, of course, for joining. I also have with me Honorable Commissioner for Education and Human Capital Development, Dr. Lawal Olohungbebe, still with me here in Lagos. Well, gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining. Let me come straight to you. Mr. Isaiah Ijele, I would like you to speak, largely on all of the politics and politicking we're seeing ahead of the general elections. We are already seeing all of the permutations, political parties in top gear, but then there's also the power of incumbency. Do you think the opposition actually have a plan, concrete plan in motion? Because for many, they feel that, yes, we have opposition, but they don't seem ready.
My brother, thank you once again for having me. There are opposition, because if you look at the trajectory of 2023 election and what is going on right now, sometimes I sit down and I weep, because I kept saying it, that opposition is the bedrock for democracy. We can never strive and have a better country without a viable opposition. I'm not talking of online talking opposition. I mean opposition, real opposition. And the opposition must be allowed to strive. They must be allowed to harness their own potential around the people, around the Nigerian citizens. Because recently, Mr. President said something in one of his speeches. He said, I know there is suffering in the land. I know what I inherited, the menace, the problem from my predecessor, meaning he's aware that there is problem. He's aware there is hardship. And that is why I have problem with some of the APC leadership, because they feel there is no problem. Even Mr. President admitted there are issues.
So are you saying, Dr. David, Mr. David Ijele, are you saying that Many APC, according to you, many APC leaders are living in self-denial that there is no problem.
It is obvious. A lot of them are saying it. In fact, one recently said that there is no hunger in Nigeria, and as if he's living on another planet. But Mr. President acknowledged that he's aware there is hardship, but be patient with me, I'm fixing it. So let's not be politicking with people's lives. I love some of the initiatives by the Commissioner of Education from Kwara State. I top up for you for some of your policies, and you are following it personally. And that is where we have problem in this country, because I cannot sit down here to say some of the policies of Mr. President is not working. I cannot say so. But you know what? The implementation and the people that are saddled with the responsibility to make sure the implementation reach to the grassroots are just a rubber stamp. And I was so sad today to see a list of the senatorial candidate. And do you know what? That what? 90 to 95% were former governors. Those who have looted us dry. Those who could not bring development to our community. They are now going to be our lawmakers.
Mr. Ijele, please, you've given the APC, you've given the APC, even though you sort of, commended the All Progressives Congress, you've also given the party a bloody nose. Please permit me to leave you for a moment to bring in Dr. Agbakahi George, is an APC chieftain, to respond to some of the things. So maybe I should just start by asking an obvious question that you did raise in your analysis. Is there suffering in the land?
The truth remains that there are difficulties in the land. But the truth again remains that the president is tackling all these difficulties, with
How?
Major.
How is he tackling it? At the micro level.
See, let me tell you.
Not the macro level now, the micro.
You see, in every economy that is undergoing structural reforms, the macro economy comes first, after which the micro economy will follow. And that is exactly what is happening. The macroeconomic fundamentals are strong. The economy is stabilized. Please, let me tell you, I must be honest to the Nigerian people. The transition was tough. We do not deny that. But we have passed the worst of the storm. And we are now building the superstructure on a stable foundation. There is no growth without pain. When you are reversing decades of decay that came about during the PDP years, it's very difficult. The president is not sleeping. He has declared a state of emergency on food security and on other areas, on housing, on solid mineral. There is diversification of the economy since the president came on board. So, see, Nigerians are discerning. They will choose a man who has the courage to do the hard work over those who are only making noise and complaining. The president has done a whole lot, and he's a very bold and courageous leader who will also do more when he is re-elected in 2027.
I would leave you for a moment to, of course, come back to our Lagos studio, where I still have the Honorable Commissioner here. Honorable Commissioner, let's move to politics slightly in Kwara State, right? And I'm going to ask two questions.
Okay.
Rolled into one.
Okay.
Number one, is the APC in Kwara, is it really united? And do we still have an opposition in Kwara State?
Yeah, thank you. The APC in Kwara State is facing, we have to be realistic with ourselves. There are issues from within and outside. So, but as far as we are concerned as a party, I think it is normal for us to see that that's why we have democracy. People would come in, some would go out for reasons, personal reasons.
But are these issues resolvable?
But there is no issue that is not resolvable.
Looking at the context at which these issues are right now.
Yes, some will be resolved.
Some.
Of course, I have to be realistic with you. Some will be resolved, some will not be resolved.
But don't you think it will affect the state's outing in this general election?
Well, to a certain extent, I would say it is good that it's starting now, if it has even started before now. So it now depends on our reaction to it as a party. So looking at the way it is, looking at the way things are, of course, I would say if things are done the way we are doing it, I mean, what we have planned, what will be done, who we are meeting, and the reconciliation process as well, it will not affect us if all those things are in place.
How about the opposition in the state?
The oppositions, especially the PDP, we have some of our members who now claim to be part of that, and those that were there before are still there. So we have opposition in Kwara State.
And you think they're active?
It is good to yeah, of course, they are active, of course, and it is good to have opposition. It is not what is expected of any government to kill opposition. We should work together.
Are you sure that's not what is happening?
No, not in Kwara State.
Not in Kwara State.
Not in Kwara State.
So,
we have PDP there, we have ADC, and we have APC.
Okay. Well, let me leave you for a moment.
Thank you.
And, of course, I'll go to Isaiah Ijele. Isaiah, maybe you want to react to some of the things that have been said, but I would also like to ask you, in terms of strategy here, on the part of the opposition, many have referred to the president as the encyclopedia of politics. They call him the Jagaban. And many are beginning to question if he can really be, toppled in this election. Looking at the kind of person, his personality, his caliber, his political antecedents and all of that, and the crop of opposition we have now, do they really stand a chance, given the framework that is on ground? I want you to respond to this in 60 seconds.
Dapo. I'm a realist, and I say it the way it is, without an apology to anybody. I have been advocating for the unity of the opposition. Look, to defeat the incumbent is not easy in Africa, even in the Western world. And in this present economy, in this present suffering in Nigeria and hunger and starvation, the opposition stand a chance. But, however, are they united? Are they capable to harness this opportunity of the Nigerian complaints and Nigeria situation? We have Atiku on the other side. We have Obi on the other side. I was in one of our meetings yesterday, and I was telling them, look, if you people don't come together, you are a joker. Because Atiku is trying to hold the north. The Obedience and the others are trying to hold this part of the south and then to the east.
But some will say, if you look at it also, please, sorry to interrupt you. If you look at a Peter Obi, for instance, is pairing with Kwakwanso, who seems to have a grip of the north. Some will say, look, in spite of Atiku's involvement in this race, it might not be as significant in terms of the stand or the position of the opposition.
Don't underrate Atiku, brother. You cannot underrate the capacity of Atiku any day, any time. You cannot. And don't forget, you also have political sons and daughters that are in power. Forget that he's old or he might not stand a chance of Obi and Kwankwaso, but then divided opposition cannot stand. APC on their own, look at the list of the current senatorial candidates of the APC. Look, in 2020, have you seen most of the TC? I want to be realistic here. Have you seen most of the posters being posted in some of these days? In Natasha in the Central, for instance, some of her supporters are now printing Tinubu for president, Natasha for Senate. That is
sorry, I didn't get that correctly. You are saying supporters of Senator Natasha are advocating for Mr. President and also advocating for her. So
yes, now in my area, in my constituency,
in your constituency,
it is being splitted between APC, SDP, PDP, and ADC, for instance. The senatorial candidate of the ADC is standing a very high chance with the SDP as we speak, not the APC. From my constituency, then to my House of Rep constituency, the APC, the incumbent, of course, stand a good chance because of his performance. That is Honorable Halim's. And Zechariah on the other side has gone to PDP to pick up a ticket and also advocating for Tinubu as a president. That is where I have problem. And look, we're going to be having rice and beans and with pomo and aku in 2027 because opposition are not united. And because the opposition are not united, some serious candidates feel, look, the only threat I will have is at the central level, which is the presidential candidate. So let me give it to him and take my own. See, the leadership of opposition have failed Nigeria over the years, and they are still failing us. They have refused to come together to produce a viable opposition. Look, I love opposition because it will put us to work.
All right.
It will put the incumbent to
Ijele,
work.
I will come back to you. I'll come back to you. Let me go to Dr. Agbakahi on this one. Doctor, I mean, I know you would say your party does, stand a chance, strong chance. You're an APC member. But what would you consider the biggest challenge that the APC, your party, is facing now? And what areas will you say that your party really hasn't done well in the last 4 years?
Well, first of all, I want to wholeheartedly agree with the last speaker.
I know you would agree. So I didn't.
Wait. I want to agree with him in respect of the disunity in the opposition. And that's one of the reasons why APC will win election. But I want to go back to the subject matter of this particular conversation. You see, I disagree with him in respect of the fact he said that the opposition, the incumbents hardly win election. See, lose election. Historically speaking, incumbents have lost elections globally and in Africa as well. Remember Gerald Ford in 1976 in the US? George Herbert Bush lost in 1992 to Bill Clinton. Jimmy Carter was an incumbent. I think he lost in 1976 to Ronald Reagan. The current president, Donald Trump, also lost to Biden in 2020. So incumbents can lose election. But however, I want to be very clear from the outset why the APC is the party in power currently. Our confidence is not rooted, in the mechanism of power. It is fundamentally rooted in the record of accomplishment of the incumbent president. If you talk about Nigerian president that lost election, ask Jonathan. If you do not have a track record as a president, you will lose election. The president has done well.
Talking about, sorry to interrupt you, sir. You talk about accomplishments, but the country also has, please hold on, sir. 1 minute.
In a whole lot of areas.
1 minute. You talk about accomplishment, but the current administration, has put the country in what some will call a debt hole. The amount of money Nigeria right now is owing is astronomically high, and many Nigerians are worried. Would you also consider that an accomplishment?
There is nothing disingenuous in borrowing money for good purposes. The United States, the richest country in the whole world, is owing $40 trillion. And they are still borrowing and fighting the war in Iran. So long as you are doing the right thing, can you imagine the kind of projects that the president is undertaking for the past 3 years? It's monotonous. That's the point. Look, let's look at the empirical facts. Look at the infrastructural development. Only in Abuja, no government since 1999 has touched, the local governments in Abuja. The president under Minister Wike, they have done a whole lot, much more than all the presidents combined, since the Fourth Republic started in 1999. So the president has done a whole lot. That's why I'm saying he's going to win based on his record, not based on incumbency.
Thank you very much. Let's bring it back to the studio. Honorable Commissioner,
Yes,
before
sir.
we wrap up, my final question is, what would you consider the biggest accomplishment of your principal, the governor of Kwara State, so far?
Yeah, thank you.
In 60 seconds.
Yeah, thank you. The biggest accomplishment, I mean, the legacy His Excellency Malam Abdurrahman Abdulrazak will be leaving. So many legacies, but the biggest one for me is inclusion, inclusivity. Bringing, bringing the youths on board, bringing the women folks on board, looking at the underdogs, those who are considered to be underdogs. So bringing all these people together, outside 2-3 examples, now in this government, under His Excellency Malam Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, we have nothing less than 40% of his cabinet female. We never had anything like that. That's something we now know that, okay, we can do this, it has to remain. And another thing is about the age, a series of ages of all these people we are talking about. We have nothing less than 45% of them below the age of 50, 45. And away from that, looking at the next person that's going to be the governor of the state now, SYD, Salu Danladi. He's from Kwara North. Kwara North since 1999 never had anybody from there becoming governor. They have always been where the entire state put them. So bringing them on board now to become governor is all about inclusivity. But however, it's not just about inclusivity, it's also about merits as well. So we look at merit and inclusion. If you're looking at merit without looking at inclusion, it is not too good for us. It is still another level of exclusion. And if you are looking at inclusion without merit, it will also weaken the system. So looking at what His Excellency is bringing on board now, his biggest legacy is all about inclusivity. Bring everybody on board. Let there be fairness, especially when it comes to senatorial district representation as far as governance is concerned. Right. And looking at the female folks and looking at the youth as well.
All right. All right, thank you very much. It's been great having you gentlemen on the program this evening. Dr. George Agbakahi, APC Chieftain, thank you so much for your time, sir. Isaiah David Ijele, Convener, Integrity and Transparency Alliance, thank you for your time. And Dr. Lawal Olohungbebe is the Honorable Commissioner for Education and Human Capital Development, Kwara State. Thank you also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right.